World Citizens Court issues arrest warrant for Xi Jinping. Full trial in April. At the start of the new year, the Chinese Communist Party and its leader Xi Jinping have been hit with a series of international lawsuits, facing 3 legal challenges in just 3 months. In late January, the Philippines announced plans to sue the CCP over environmental destruction in the South China Sea. Shortly after, the U.S. state of Missouri filed a federal lawsuit accusing the CCP of covering up and spreading COVID-19, which severely harmed local residents. Then, on February 12, foreign media reported that the Court of the Citizens of the World is preparing a Great China trial, set for April 2025 in The Hague, aiming to prosecute Xi Jinping and potentially other top CCP officials for a wide range of crimes. According to Voice of America, the Court of the Citizens of the World convened a special tribunal in The Hague from July 8 to 12, focusing on charges against Xi Jinping, including violations of Taiwan's right to self-determination, acts of aggression against Taiwan and neighboring countries, and crimes against humanity and genocide in Tibet and Xinjiang. Witnesses included Tashi Dondup, a Tibetan government-in-exile official, Ngabeda Tagachog, a Southern Mongolian human rights activist, and Xing Shui, vice chairman of the Canadian Democratic China Front. On July 12, the tribunal concluded with an outcome. The Court of the Citizens of the World issued an arrest warrant for Xi Jinping, charging him with crimes against humanity and genocide in Tibet and Xinjiang. The warrant cited sufficient legal grounds for prosecution, detailing crimes against humanity in Tibet, including the forced transfer of children, mass imprisonment, and persecution of civilians. Genocide and crimes against humanity against Uyghurs, involving mass imprisonment, torture, forced displacement, labor camps, and enforced disappearances. The court has urged the international community to issue arrest warrants for Xi, initiate formal legal proceedings, and take necessary measures to ensure accountability. The trial featured a distinguished panel of well-known experts. Presiding Judge Stephen J. Yarap, former U.S. Ambassador-at-Large for Global Criminal Justice, led the tribunal alongside Judge Zak Yaqub, former South African Constitutional Court judge, and Judge Bhavani Fonseca, a renowned Sri Lankan human rights lawyer. The prosecution was headed by Jonathan Rees and Ly Nguyen, while the defense included Daniel Arshack and Steve Kelleher, all of whom are internationally respected legal professionals. Judge Rapp, who previously prosecuted Liberian President Charles Taylor, noted key differences between the two cases. Taylor was convicted of war crimes, while Xi is guilty of crimes against humanity. He highlighted that Xi's crimes, impacting millions in Tibet and Xinjiang, far exceed Taylor's, which involved tens of thousands of victims. He declared, "We now have sufficient evidence to charge Xi Jinping with 11 counts of genocide and crimes against humanity." Regarding Xi's potential arrest, Rapp stated, "Whether she will be detained remains uncertain, but our work at the Citizens Court should spark global discussion." A coalition of nations could form an international tribunal, making his prosecution a reality. Ukrainian attorney Christian Kurak stressed the trial's significance, demonstrating global opposition to Xi's crimes. He pointed out that if the International Criminal Court, ICC, formally convicts Xi, ICC member states will be legally obligated to arrest him if he enters their territory. The Court of the Citizens of the World, an independent tribunal, was founded with the backing of Benjamin Ferencz, a former Nuremberg prosecutor, and Alexander Matvichuk, a Nobel Peace Prize laureate. The court gained global attention in February 2023 when it convicted Russian President Vladimir Putin of crimes of aggression. 1 month later, the ICC followed suit, issuing an arrest warrant against Putin, the first ever for a permanent UN Security Council member. Since then, Putin has avoided ICC member nations, skipping key events like the July 2023 BRICS summit in South Africa, likely fearing arrest. Ilham Tohti, vice chairman of the World Uyghur Congress, has strongly endorsed the court's trial against Xi Jinping. Speaking to Voice of America, he said, "Attempts to prosecute Xi at the ICC were blocked due to jurisdictional issues. But with legal experts' assistance, we launched the Uyghur Tribunal in London, led by Jeffrey Nice, the prosecutor of former Yugoslav President Milosevic." In 2021, this tribunal ruled that the CCP committed genocide and crimes against humanity against Uyghurs. We are now pursuing further legal action in Argentina, leveraging its universal jurisdiction over human rights violations. Todi reaffirmed the Uyghur people's determination: "We will not abandon any avenue to hold Xi and the CCP accountable for their atrocities." In a related development, Xinhua highlighted the necessity of the World Citizens Court, stating, "China's authoritarian system shields its leaders from prosecution. We need an institution like this to expose Xi Jinping's crimes and allow victims to seek justice." Preparations are underway for an expanded trial in April 2025 in The Hague. As an expert witness, Xinhua, vice chair of the Democratic Movement Global Alliance, stated that her team is collecting testimonies and collaborating with legal experts to formulate charges. She urged victims to submit evidence via platforms like X. The World Citizens Tribunal will further expand the charges against Xi Jinping, covering the following areas. The geographical scope includes Manchukuo, northeast China, primarily for historical oppression and ethnic persecution; Hong Kong, focusing on the destruction of democracy and freedom, as well as the mass arrests and torture of dissidents; and southern Mongolia, where cultural genocide and ethnic persecution have taken place. The crimes and affected groups include Chinese human rights lawyers and their families, forced organ harvesting from Falun Gong practitioners and ordinary Chinese citizens, forced evictions, land seizures, and property plundering, the cover-up of COVID-19 and persecution of victims, the health disaster caused by drug proliferation, concealment of flood disasters and mass casualties due to dam discharges, child health crises caused by toxic vaccines, abuses in psychiatric hospitals, including the illegal detention of dissidents, systematic persecution of Christian and Catholic faith communities, cultural and religious repression of Buddhists, transnational abductions and repression of overseas dissidents, and issues such as the chained woman case and the sex slavery crisis linked to human trafficking of Chinese women. Xinhua stated that the World Citizens Tribunal marks the first formal legal action by the global judicial system against a Chinese leader. The significance of this trial is not only to expose the truth, but also to pave the way for China's future. We cannot allow these crimes to be forgotten. Justice may be delayed, but it will never be absent, she said. This trial will serve as a milestone in the global resistance against totalitarian tyranny and will lay the legal foundation for holding Xi Jinping accountable for his crimes, ensuring that history remembers both the brutality of the Chinese Communist Party and the resilience of the people's struggle.